Okay, this is just a little sort of tip on a Kenwood TS450 or 690. This one's a 690 from memory, 690S. Okay, so this is the one with 6 meters in it as well. As you'll see, we've got this board out at the moment, and this is a very common fault on these radios. Very easy to get out. Sorry I didn't do this a bit earlier. I probably should have just done a little bit more of a look at how to do it, but basically that board sits in there. Screw, sorry, down here, screw. There is in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Don't mind those 2 there for the filter. As a matter of checking, we pull the filters when we're checking the sideband, but that's no problem. Okay, so this thing's got it's got a couple of problems, so we're just going to fix one at a time. I just wanted to show you, this is probably the most common fault that you're ever going to see on a TS450. Where's my little pointer? Okay. Pin 4 is on your output. So when you put your Crow probe on pin 4 of the UPC 2002 audio IC, you should see loads and loads of output coming off that. If you don't, okay, well, it's probably faulty. Input pin 1 and 2, you'll see very low level input on pin 2 there. Or pin 1, sorry. Now I'm thinking, checking both. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember now. But pin 4 is definitely your output. If there's nothing coming off 4, excuse me. So if you've got loads of level coming off pin 4 on your Crow, 1, 2, 3, but C104 is the most common, and in this case, let me show you what happens to a capacitor over time. See how the top of it looks pretty good, no worries, but have a look at the bottom. See how the bottom's bulging out? It's faulty. It's extremely faulty. So this cap is very, very common that goes on the 450. Unfortunately, look, this is really just a quick look at the 450 and one fault. This has got an output issue as well, where it's only doing about 10 watts. Actually, this come off VK Classifieds. A mate of mine up in Brisbane had this sitting around and decided that, look, someone give me an offer, and I put an offer in, which was probably, you know, sort of a spares offer, to be fair. Thinking, you know, we'll fix another 450 with it, and then I had a look through and thought, we don't have another 450 or 690, so I thought, well, we might have a look at it anyway. But it is going to be 2 separate faults, but this will be their audio fault. 3 maybe. I noticed there's possibly an AGC issue too, but sometimes you know, that can be deceptive. Well, let's get some sound coming out of it first. But you know, it's modulating on AM. It's receiving a signal on high level signal on all modes, on all bands. So you know, we can inject something into it. It actually transmits on all bands, all modes. So you know, but low power, 10 watts. So we've got a little bit of a goal to, you know, get into this one and see what we can do. Got to put that fella back in too. I just noticed actually when we and the joys of being a tech. When we've pulled that out there, I reckon we probably desoldered over here and maybe knocked that resistor out, but that's all right. We'll put that back in. But generally, I can just about put money on the fact that if you've got an audio fault, we'll replace 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, probably not so much that one. That's never really an issue. But 1, 2, 3, I'll replace the whole 3 of those. Even though they appear to be quite fine, I've got an audio path coming out of there fine through the filters, etc. No worries. But certainly this one here is all roads stop there. So so if you get yourself a TS, got to remember what it is, 690, isn't it? Yeah, 690. Oh, that's not very good, is it? 690S. Or a 450. Just if it's got no audio, go pull this board out first and have a bit of a look. You don't, well, sorry, don't pull it out initially. Run your Crow probe while it's in there on pin 4 here. Make sure you got audio. Very hard to get into some of these areas here, so you're going to find, you know, that's a little harder. You can get in on the side here, And you can usually get in on the side here. I could, no problems. It was just out of the board enough. But yeah, that's when you sort of saw the whole thing was dead, and audio just didn't go any further. All right, so that should give you a bit of an idea. Pull the board. Please do not use solder wick on these. You will end in tragedy. It is really one for a nice desoldering tool. It's not impossible to do a solder wick, but it's, you can make a mess too. So you'll find the desoldering gun will give you a nice, just the correct heat with the correct sucking at the right time, and these will just pop out very, very easily. And you've got and do look on the bottom. A lot of these, they won't be visible from the top, but you'll see how they've sort of blown out through the bottom. It's not always going to be, sometimes you'll see around this top area here, you'll see that it's exploded a bit, or become a bit larger, but often we see this on the bottom. All right, well, that's just a quick look at the 690. I remembered it this time, and yeah, no, look, great radio when they're going. Kenwood made some really good gear, but of course, they do have their problems. By the way, what's caused the problem with this radio? And there's a couple of them. One of the things we look at, and just very quickly, somewhere we've got the original screws from. Okay, righto. When you first get a radio, have a look at its environment it's been in. Have a look at this. Okay, so we know it's been around moisture. This radio, every screw is the same on its external screws. We know it's been around moisture, so start looking for things, corroded tracks, corroded, lots of different things, connector problems, you name it. There's just so many different things that you can. These here, we spray them all, check them all. To be fair, I haven't done that yet with these because we're not to that level. We sort of know we've got a fault on this board over here, but yeah, have a look at the environment, and even look at the back of the board. For example, I'm just about to clean off this board, but have a look here. See, just trying to get a good shot of it. Oh yeah, okay, see the sort of stuff here. Now this here can be very corrosive, and you've got to be careful, particularly on joints like right there. It can start to eat into the track. Sometimes you'll find you've got an open circuit track. It'll be, just a little bit obvious that something is going on. And no coincidence that that's all sort of around the area that we're working at the moment too. So, but although the cap hasn't gone for that reason, they just symbolically go. They're unreal. But yeah, just clean your board off, and make sure you brush that down, acetone the thing off. Just get any sort of rubbish that's on there, particularly the sort of stuff off. And then just do a visual inspection of your joints. Make sure that everything is actually still connecting. That it hasn't corroded a track somewhere, because the fault we've got to chase next on this, will be on this board. I think I've just got a bit of a suspicion, but we'll see. All right, that's enough. Sorry, I went to stop this video 3 times and I kept on having extra thoughts. So anyway, what was supposed to be 2 minutes ended up being 8 minutes. That's always the way. 73s, all the best from VK3CM, JDW229. Thanks very much. Please subscribe. Cheers.